I've been working in the field of peace studies over the last 20 years. And I work in different contexts from Afghanistan to Sierra Leone to Lebanon to El Salvador. And one of the things that really has struck me in these different places is the need to work with local war-affected communities.
So we now have the Centre for Trust, Peace and Social Relations. Trust, we think, will provide the glue for social solidarity, for the interests of competing parties across the world. We don't have to like each other or agree with each other, but need to get on. Peace, we're interested in peaceful relations, not just peace that follows war, but peace for everyone always. Sometimes the most successful transformation you can inspire is to keep places peaceful that are already peaceful. And social relations describes the 21st century. It's an age of relationships. And it is in the nature of those relationships that peaceful relations will emerge, or not. Our work is intensely practical. It needs to be. Of course we are scholars, and of course we have strong analytical frameworks and theories. The research is important to us. The integrity of our work is important to it. The honesty with which we approach the research is important. But we're very practical. We're driven by other people's needs just as much as our own interests. And other people can be governments, they could be the United Nations, seeking solutions to intractable problems. If we can share some of our insights, some of our experience, that sort of catalytic approach gives me confidence that our teams are grounded in practical reality.
We are different because we work with a number of international and local NGOs, local communities, in order to really bring them in the process as much as possible, so that the process, the research process itself, is enabling, building their capacities, but at the same time, whatever we come up with in terms of outputs of our research are meaningful and helpful for them to respond to conflicts more effectively.
We are as interested in the conflicts, the war-torn countries of the Middle East and Latin American cities as we are with the plight of ordinary people living in Cleethorpes or in Coventry or indeed in parts of London. And the issue that interests us is the degree to which people are vulnerable in a changing world. That change might come about through violent conflict, or it might just come about through diversity or economic inequality, which is growing all the time. So the scope of our work seems very broad, but actually it's quite tight and focused. It's driven by our experience at a very local level, and we seek to apply the learned experience from local engagement on a global scale.
When we think about who we are in the center, it's very multidisciplinary. So peace studies is usually undertaken by people from politics or international relations background. But in our center we have anthropologists, psychologists, sociologists, and this is absolutely necessary because post-conflict reconstruction and peace building require a very comprehensive understanding.
In addition to our research, we're committed to capacity building, particularly among practitioners, and our suite of postgraduate programs is designed to do exactly that. Most of our students live overseas, they're active in their communities or in their governments, and some are quite senior. And we have programs that look at peace and conflict, at marine security, a new area of piracy and trafficking, and at global diversity governance. We believe that there are many professionals working out there who don't really understand how complex diverse communities are, how difficult peace and conflict is to resolve, how impossible it is to police our seas. So by our programs of postgraduate learning, we're extending our reach, we're extending our impact, and our alumni will be our ambassadors and take the commitment we have to transformation into their own local contexts. I think we now have a centre that is remarkably distinct globally. There is no other centre that looks at vulnerable people in the way that we do, in the way that looks at how transformation can create a securer context for vulnerability. We don't pretend to remove all vulnerability. We look at the way in which we can build capacity for people to deal with it and cope with it in the lived reality of everyday life. And that's the impact that we want to have.